Well, good evening and welcome along to Super League Raw Weekly. Hello to everybody out there joining us this evening. We've already got a couple in the chat. Dawn Baker, Peter Mason, already with us, and they've already got the cherries out. Marvellous stuff. Your first job this evening, those who are joining us, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Make sure you share. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook right now, press the share button. Let all your friends know that you are watching Super League Raw Weekly, the best magazine show online every single week. We need to grow the audience, and you can help us to do that. Good evening, gentlemen. Are you well?
Good evening. Brilliant, thank you.
Marvellous, marvellous. Right, okay. So only really one place to start this week, of course, the Challenge Cup final. Like I say, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Wigan get the quadruple. Warrington Wolves 8, Wigan Warriors 18. Go on then, Greg. I'll let you kick off.
You're on mute, mate.
Can't hear you, Greg. You're definitely on mute. Steph, you start us off. Why Greg sorting himself out?
No, I think it was to start with. What a weekend! It was always good to make the pilgrimage down to Wembley. Great to see so many fans in attendance, and fair play to both the Warrington and Wigan fans as well. We had some good chats with them in the local boozers. Everyone seemed to be in really good spirits, and the fans were mingling, which is a credit to our sport, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Go on then, Greg. You're back. In you go, sir. Oh, no, you're not back.
I'm only joking. Yes, a strange occasion. So, right there, Steph.
Yeah.
We expected an absolutely fantastic game between the two most exciting teams at this moment in time, and it was just a huge letdown, especially if you're a Warrington fan. We chose one hell of an occasion to put in one of our worst performances this season. And it's a real shame, but hats off to Wigan. Control the game after that the first 10 minutes when Cooper was off. Control the game, and we only started looking like we wanted to play with 20 minutes to go, and by that time it was too late. Wigan didn't get out of second gear, and congratulations to the Cherry and Whites, thoroughly deserved this. That's the better team won on the day, and there's nothing more I can add to that, really.
No, I mean, in terms of the game itself, like you say, I'm devastated for Rugby League and the fact that it was not a classic final, and it wasn't. And I thought, I'm going to go there straight away. I thought the temperature was taken out the game in the first 10 minutes, and both were not yellow cards. In terms of Cooper's, I don't think Cooper's was, but the moment Cooper goes for 10 and Duffy does that challenge on Marshall, is evening it up. And for me, it didn't allow the teams to settle. It didn't allow the final to settle. I think we'd have had a far better final had those two decisions not been made, personally. I
put in the chat, I was watching State of Origin, and I actually put in our chat when, red card, first 10 minutes of State of Origin, Chris Kendall, hold my beer. And I was proved right. And I, to be honest, I don't think this was Chris Kendall's fault. I think this was Liam Moore. He advised, and common sense has got to step in, and Chris Kendall's got to say, it's the first minute of a Challenge Cup final. The guy's falling. How on earth is Mike Cooper going to pull out of that challenge when he's almost horizontal to the floor? And like you say, as soon as Duffy makes contact with Marshall's head, and he's going to get a yellow card to even it up, because it was a crazy decision in the first place to send Cooper for 10. Yeah. I actually was quite worried that Cooper was going to get a red when the way he called him over, and I'm thinking, even though I'm a Warrington fan, I'm thinking, no, please don't. And I was relieved it was a yellow, even though it wasn't a yellow. But yeah, Peter's put in the chat that Liam Moore recommended a yellow, and Liam, you're completely wrong. You're completely wrong. You don't try and stamp your authority on a game. You're not refereeing, sunshine. That's all I've got to say on that one.
Yeah, I think, what would say, Leigh Partington there, of course, was at the final, courtesy of ourselves. He says it's not a legitimate quadruple. I actually think that it is, Leigh, if I'm being honest. You can only win the World Club Challenge this moment in time. You've got your hands on all 4 trophies. That's a quadruple, as far as that's it. You've got all 4 trophies at the same time. And to be honest with you, I don't see the other 2 going anywhere fast, if I'm being perfectly honest. Steph, I mean, we said at the start of the season, we all fancied Wigan this year, the strength of the squad. They brushed Warrington away. They brushed Warrington away at the weekend. I think over a 27-round season, I can't see Wigan not being top of the pile. The question is, when we get to the playoffs, probably Saints, definitely. Warrington, I'm going to put KR in that bracket because I think they're capable of turning Wigan over. We've seen that already. It's going to take an almighty effort from one of those teams to dislodge this Wigan side.
Oh yeah, I mean we said it. The squad is frightening. And even when they get injuries, the next one comes along. And that's not off the back of this weekend. We've been saying that since before the season kicked off in our preview shows. How frightening the Wigan squad were. So I don't think many of us didn't put Wigan top on our prediction at the start of the season. So there's no shock from me at all in terms of how well Wigan are doing. There's no shock that they won the final on Saturday. But I think you're absolutely right. What you're saying is that they never got out of third gear, and I don't think Warrington. I think Warrington were a bit deer in the headlights, or rabbit in the headlights. Kind of, there's some younger lads on there didn't have the experience that the Wigan team have got in big games, and I think that showed. I don't think Warrington performed anywhere near to the potential, and some of that was to do with how well Wigan played. But you look at Matty Ashton dropping that ball, that's so uncharacteristic of him. We all know how solid and reliable he is. And, I think off the first 2 Wigan tries were both off the back of Warrington mistakes. So, that's where we're not, no means saying that Wigan didn't play well. They did. They played really, really well. Did they play to their absolute potential? Absolutely not. And I think even the Wigan fans will agree that they probably could have gone up another 2 or 3 levels in that game and really put Warrington to the sword. But I do think that Warrington let themselves down a bit. I was a bit disappointed in the performance, and you're absolutely right in terms of it wasn't a spectacle for rugby league. It just wasn't. And I think for me, the cards played a big part in that. You're absolutely right in that it set the tone for the game, and it put a bit of a downer on it straight away. The crowd kind of went out of it. It did take the crowd out of it a bit, and that's from being there as a neutral and just wanting it to be an absolute classic, and it unfortunately wasn't. But I'm not, before the Wigan fans jump on me, I'm not saying that you weren't brilliant, because you did play very, very well, and it was a lot of that was why Warrington didn't play well. But
I agree, and I think I think Wigan did exactly what they needed to do.
Yes,
they did, and for me, Warrington. When Cooper got the yellow card, the game was lost for Warrington in that next set of 6. All they had to do was control the game for 10 minutes while Cooper was off the pitch.
Yeah.
And they went for the Hollywood try on that first set of 6. And then Dufty sees yellow, and it's all even. Yeah. Wigan are like, cheers, lads. Yeah. That's all we need.
That's what I was saying.
All they had to do was play rugby, contain Wigan while they were down to 12 men, maybe score. I mean, obviously they got the 2 points from the penalty early doors, maybe score, but keep Wigan down there, and they just tried, as Warrington do a lot of times, tried to score the Hollywood try, and 9 times out of 10 they don't complete, and it all goes wrong. Yeah. And that, for me, even though it was in the first couple of minutes, was where they lost the game.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, Ryan Gregg was in the chat. Did Warrington play badly, or did Wigan let them play? Look, guys, this is my take on the final. Did Wigan play well? No, if I'm being honest. Far from Wigan as best. Far from Wigan's best. As Greg said, Wigan didn't get out of second or third gear. Warrington didn't test them. So to say that Wigan played well, Warrington didn't test them. And people will say, well, was that down to Wigan? No, it was down to poor execution. Go back and watch the video. Warrington's final play on virtually every play that set they had was no composure. They weren't kicking into corners. As Greg says, they were trying to run the ball in silly positions. They were doing hospital, Hail Mary passes left, right, and centre. They lacked big game composure. Only 5 players of a Warrington team in that team have won a trophy, and it showed. It showed, and it's a learning curve for Warrington. Wigan could only beat what's in front of them, and they did it really, really well. Warrington, for whatever reason, didn't do what they've been doing for the majority of this season in terms of the way they set up, the way they executed. It was a long way from that game in the quarterfinal against St. Helens, a long way from that performance. Yeah. Clearly, Lachlan Fitzgibbon wasn't fit going in, which again, Burgess will learn. As good as Fitzgibbon's been for Warrington, do not play a player carrying a back injury into a Challenge Cup final, especially when you've got the personnel to carry it. All he had to do was put Curry back into second row, bring Crowder on as number 13. And this is where bravery comes in. Matt Peat didn't even break sweat. In goes Zach Eckersley. I didn't think they'd do it. They did. They put the young lad in, and lo and behold, he goes and scores a try. And that's the difference between Warrington at the moment and Wigan. I think there was some decisions made before the game that I think, given his chance again, given his chance again, he'd change some of his decisions going into the game. And like I say, from a Warrington perspective, just didn't. If you don't execute your plays, if you don't kick into corners, that's what Smith did all game. He managed the game yet again. Warrington didn't do that. Simple. And Warrington turned the ball over time and time again in their own 30. And when you do it, and let's be absolutely crystal clear, Steph, I think you said it, Wigan bombed some tries. I mean, they had that many chances through Warrington losing possession in their own 30. And time again, Wigan didn't convert. So it could have been an absolute gulf. And somehow Warrington, with 20 minutes to go, are still in it, which is just unbelievable. And I think, like I say, so, let's be, Wigan are a champion team. They've got the quadruple. And I do call it straight, but Wigan did not have to play well to win that final.
No. And do you know what, David? With 20 minutes to go, if we'd have come back and won that game, it'd have been a travesty. And as a Warrington fan, I'd have been swinging off the lights at Wembley if we'd have won that in the last 20 minutes. But it would have been a travesty. And I think David Pye's put in there, Warrington didn't seem to have any structure. Because once again, against Wigan, George Williams disappeared. Yeah. Every time we play Wigan, George Williams disappears. Every single time in a Warrington shirt.
I mean, that's harsh. I actually thought. Well, mate, I thought well, look, mate, I think that's harsh.
He disappeared again, and he always was against Wigan.
Well, mate, I think, based on what I watched, he was probably one of the only few Warrington players who were properly giving it a go, mate.
He was playing his own game, and he wasn't telling anybody else what he was playing. Really?
We'll agree to disagree on that. We'll agree to disagree on
that.
We'll
agree to disagree, mate, and I'll probably get some pelters in the chat, but for me, he never plays well against Wigan.
I'll tell you what interests me as well in this, and again, I think it was that type of game. The Lance Todd. Let's just go there for a minute. Now, I'm not saying Bevan French wasn't the Lance Todd winner. He possibly was. The question I've got is this: was he a landslide winner? He got 25 votes. Fowle got 3, Smith got 3, Ellis got 2, Field got 1. Now, I'm going to ask you an honest question. Were some of those votes given before the ball was even kicked? Because the game I saw, that Lance Todd should have been a lot closer than that. He wasn't 25. The next closest was 3. So, I'm sure if we all watched that game, I'm sure the people in the chat who watched that game, they'll all have a view on who the winner was. Perhaps it was French, but when you consider how many votes is that? 31, that's 34 votes. Out of 34 votes, does anybody think that Bevan French should have got 25? Anyone?
No.
I thought Harry Smith was superb, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Harry Smith. So he's put in the chat, Cade
Ellis, yeah.
I thought O'Neill in the first 20 minutes was unbelievable.
Well, Ryan Gregory, good evening, sir. He says, shocking that Luke Thompson wasn't even voted for once. You know, we've got Cade Ellis being talked about in the chat. Good evening to you. Let's do a few good evenings. Good evening, as you've said today, by Don Kirby's with us. Hello, Dawn, Hull KR fan, as always. Dawn Baker, Lee Partington. I'm amazed Craig Rigby's not showed up yet. That's a surprise. I hope Dave's okay. Craig's okay, sorry. But yeah, like I say, keep your chats coming. Don't forget, we'll give you your shout outs throughout. But like I say, I just think it's an interesting observation, Steph, that out of 34, it never should Bevan French have got 25 of the 34 votes.
No, I don't think he should. I do think he was the right choice, and I think you've got a point with he was kind of destined to win that before the game kicked off. I think all he had to do was have a half decent game, and he was more than likely going to win it. Yeah. I think that try probably won it for him, and you know, because it was a magic. You know, that was Bevan French at his best in terms of his sidestepping, and there's not many players who can do that. And I think that just in a game that was quite dull, I think that moment probably won it for him.
Well, Andrew Robertson there says French played well and scored another in a poor game. There weren't many other highlights. Yeah, do you know, like I say, I'm not saying he wasn't the Lance Todd winner. I just found it very odd. Very odd.
Maybe again lazy from the journalists who don't see the hard work that was put into a Wigan performance that kept a decent attacking side in Warrington very, very quiet for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Why was that team quiet? Because Wigan's defence was magnificent.
Yeah.
And that's down to the pack. You know, and it's lazy, isn't it? And you're right, Dave. Was it decided? Were two names in the hat before the game, and whoever won it?
I just think so. It's not. Look, it's like everything, is it? It's the old adage of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, if I go to a rugby match and I come out with a statement like, so I go to any rugby match. Yeah, let's say I go to St. Helens. Let's make it neutral, and I say, right, Jack Wellesby's going to have a belting game here today. That automatically puts my focus on Jack Wellesby for that game. Automatically.
Of course it does.
I'm looking to justify my view that he's the best player on the field. So I'm going to watch him intently. Yeah. And even if he and when you do something like that, and like I say, it's an interesting debate, this, and I hope people are fascinated by it. And the fact that, you know, if I go in with that mindset, Jack Wellesby, and my mindset is watch Jack Wellesby, he could have an average game, but because my brain, because I do a lot of work with the mind, because my brain is focused on that one thing, it will miss other things that could have perhaps persuaded it differently. And that's what I'm getting at here. Probably getting a bit technical, but if journalists go to games with an agenda, and we see BBC and the rest, you know, before a game bigging up certain players, and lo and behold, guess who gets the man of the match? That's the problem. When you go into it for me, they should go in and just let the game flow. Just let it flow. You know, don't go in with that mindset. And then, and this is what I do when I watch all the games and I do my 3-2-1. I'm just letting it flow, and I'm just trying my best to just who's catching my eye. And I'll be honest, what I actually do as well, quite sad this, but it's true. What I actually do when I watch these games, I actually commentate in my head, because as I'm commentating players in my head, I'm realizing which names I'm saying more and more than others. So in my head, I actually commentate in my head. That's what I do in my head. I try and tell the story in my head as I'm watching it. And it's amazing how certain players then come to the top, because you realise, dear me, he's having a good 10 minutes here. I must have said that. You know, and it gets you that.
I think not to plug membership, but I'm gonna. That's probably one of the good things about the WhatsApp group, in terms of everyone's watching the games together, you know, and the amount of times where we've called, you know, a man of the match. You know, I'm sure the guys in the comments will say we've all done it and gone, wow, this person's having a really good game, and maybe not always the person you expect it to be. I don't think we all got to the levels you go to, Dave. I think you're a special breed, my friend, in that respect.
Whichever one you want to say.
To quote our live stream,
but I won't.
To quote our live stream from Saturday night, you're a stat man. So
you're right, Dave. You know, like Sam Tompkins a couple of weeks ago before St. Helens game, just says Jack Wellesby best player in Super League, and lo and behold, he gets the man of the match, and he wasn't the best player on the pitch by a million miles. It is, somebody's put in there power of suggestion.
Yeah,
Dawn's put in there. It is, And Sky, not just with rugby, with football, with other sports, Sky have this thing where they pick a player at the beginning of a season and they concentrate on that player and they tell us how good that player is. Sam Tompkins is a prime example of that. A great player, but also had that grub in him that rugby league fans didn't like. And, you know, when he's being booed playing for England and Eddie Hemmings is up in arms saying, why are they booing Sam Tompkins? Well, Eddie, go look back at the videos and see what he gets up to. But it's that power of suggestion. You're right there.
Well, Eddie was right. Anybody who puts on an England shirt shouldn't be booed.
No, he shouldn't, but he's asking the question. Well, Eddie,
absolutely.
Go back and watch the videos and see why.
Yeah. Peter Mason's asking us what our 3-2-1 was. Do you know what, Pete? I genuinely, I've watched it for a second time. French should be in there. He probably is number 3. I just thought that the split was a little bit stupid, if I'm being honest. I think Harry Smith would probably be in there.
Definitely.
Because his kicking game, I'd give him the 2. And do you know what? Just for sentimental reasons, the young lad Eckersley, to go on the biggest stage, you know, to go on that bit, you know, let's be fair, the biggest stage of his life, to score a try, and he wasn't found wanting at any point during the game, you know, that takes a lot of doing from the young man. So, you know what? I think in terms of who were the game breakers, French and Smith, probably in that order. And then if I was going to pick the one, I'd go Eckersley. What's your thoughts, Steph?
Yeah, I think I completely. I mean, for the young lad to do that, but I mean, this is why we've gone about Wigan being so good, because they've got that ingrained. They've got that winning thing. You know, it's just ingrained in them, and those lads can do it and just go. And that's probably the difference between Warrington and Wigan at the moment. I'd probably have gone like the guys Ellis, Thompson. It's the few that could have got ones for me in the Wigan side.
Right.
I'd give a shout out to Brad O'Neill, to be honest.
Yeah, Brad. Yeah. Anyway,
Evan French, Harry Smith. I think Brad O'Neill had a game that was under the radar, but he did absolutely nothing wrong while he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, look, we've had a good 25-minute chat there on the grand final. There's no sour grapes here. My biggest gripe at Wembley this week is, quite frankly, all 3 games didn't deliver. And that's a real crying shame. You know, Saints walked the women's game, Wakey walked theirs, Wigan comfortably beat Warrington. Real shame.
Yeah. But we should say congratulations to Wakefield.
Absolutely.
To
Helens
ladies for you know, and the Wakefield fans turned up in massive numbers as well at Wembley, which was great to see. And just to give a shout out to Thingy's lad, Leigh's asked us to give his son a shout out.
Tommy. Yeah, is that Tommy? We're giving a shout out to Tommy. Tommy, well done, son. I hope you're going to be joining us for right on cue, because your dad missed the last one. Hopefully he's not going to miss this one, because we'd love to have your company. Monday night, the 17th, it's in the corner now, the QR code. Go and get your tickets for the Super League Raw Quiz Night. Members, they're on the way to you. I've started doing that. A few of you will have already had that. I think I've just got 18th man to do. But they're starting to hit your inboxes now. So don't worry. You don't have to do anything other than just make sure it's in your diary, 8 p.m. next Monday the 17th, the Super League Raw Quiz Night. There is a prize for the winner, approximately 25 quid's worth. And that's basically where it's going to be. So, yeah, good prizes, good banter, good crack, good knowledge. Do you know your rugby league? Get over to Eventbrite, no matter which one you're watching this on tonight, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter, whether it be YouTube, in the description in terms of what to look forward to in this show. In there is the link for the quiz night, or you can do the QR code there and it'll take you to it. I'll leave that on the screen for a little while yet, why we continue to talk about it. Also, as well, it's still not going to get all this one. The Rob Burrow tribute show, that is still available for you to listen to on download and to watch on YouTube. Of course, we were on the Sunday night when Rob passed, and we did a tribute. And let's just have a quick chat about that, because it's only right that we do so. Congratulations to the Rugby Football League, to all the fans in the stadium, to everybody who put that together. I thought it was a fitting tribute to Rob. You could hear a pin drop. I mean, I've been to a lot of minute silences, a lot. And maybe, again, because I was very conscious of it, it was just deathly silent. I mean, the level of respect, and rightly so. I thought Abide With Me when the flags came out. That I was in, you know, I was very quiet, and I think Steph was the same for a good 4 or 5 minutes after that. I think the game had kicked off the 3 before I started to find my voice again, because I knew that if I started, I was a bit choked at that point. But yeah,
well,
really,
I was caught on camera.
Yeah,
during the applause, and my neck was about this wide because I was trying to hold the emotions in. Well, absolutely fantastic. Total respect. As I never doubted there would be. Never doubted there would be anything but total respect for Rob Burrow in those various events. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
Steph?
Yeah, and like I said about, you know, having mingling before the game and that kind of thing with the, you know, no segregation in bars and all that kind of thing. That's what I was talking about, the rugby league community. And like you said, I didn't expect anything less, but it was probably a moment I'll remember for the rest of my life. That I think I don't think, well, not saying never, but to have that kind of buy-in from everybody on one person and respect for that one person in that one moment in time, I think it's quite a unique experience. That, and you know, I'm not ashamed to say I was in bits when a part of me was.
Absolutely.
And Steph, can I just say, putting your shirt there was class, mate.
Yeah, it was.
In the tour, it's class, absolute class, that, mate. Well done.
I've got that on video. I'll spare you though, because he does get his pigeon chest out at that point. But no, it was to be fair to him, completely off the cuff, caught me by surprise. Lovely moment. The sales shirt, quite rightly laid in tribute. So no, it just says everything we know already about Steph, that he's a top man. Nicola Burnwood in the chat. Hello, Nicola, one of our members, and Ryan Gregory, who's with us this evening. Quite a few comments going in from Ryan. We're going to show him some love. It's the first time he's been, I think, with us, so we'll get a few of his on the screen. But do become a Super League Raw member, Ryan.
Yeah, I think Ryan's asked a good question there.
Yeah.
Thinking about the top tier being closed now.
Yeah, we'll come to that, Greg. Don't interrupt David when he's in full flow. Thank you. Super League Raw membership is now open for Mr. Gregory and anybody else. Great benefits to be had, including a free ticket. I mean, it pays for itself because you get a free ticket to the quiz, and there's a chance of winning wonderful prizes. More prizes coming throughout the season. Leigh was in the stadium on Saturday, courtesy of Super League Raw. There's more great prizes on the way this year. Don't worry about that. And Danny Harmon is with us. Hello, Danny. Good to have your company, as well as always, as is Callum Calvert as well. But Greg, you were quite right. There is a good comment there from Ryan. His first time at Wembley, and thoughts on attendance, and it was a decent attendance. I thought it'd be a bit better. I thought more people would have travelled to pay because of Rob, and I thought there might have been a bit of a surge on tickets for that. Didn't really materialise. I know there was a lot of traffic problems on the M6 before the game. There's a bad crash. I think maybe some, because all of them had been travelling that way. Maybe some fans turned around. I don't know. But yeah, it's a quandary for the whole league, really, because we need to get back to a time. And you know, what we've got to be mindful of here, let's just be, again, I want to throw this out, actually, because we talk about the great days of the past at Wembley Stadium. Let's not forget, Wembley was only pushing 70-odd thousand. It's not a million miles off what it used to be. You know, people seem to think because it's a bigger Wembley now than the old Wembley. You know, if that was the old Wembley, it would be pretty much getting up for full. So it's only because it's a bigger stadium. Us as rugby league supporters, it's not. I think that attendances haven't dropped that much. They have dropped, but don't get fooled by the size of the stadium. The stadium has also got bigger. And I think what we need is to grow the sport, which we continue to say, grow the sport, and to entice fans from other teams that aren't there to get to the game. But let's not forget the stadium is bigger, guys.
Exactly. You know, in previous years I've been there, the whole tier has been closed off and filled with flags. And at least some of that top tier was full, which was good to see. You're absolutely bang on there, Dave. I mean, it is a lot bigger Wembley. There was never that top tier before it was rebuilt. I was talking to an ex-player over the weekend after the game and talking about attendances. And he made a good point that in the past, you know, pre-Super League, pre-Summer Rugby, the Challenge Cup final was the last game of the season, apart from the Premiership, which was an end-of-season playoff. But that was a time when everybody celebrated the sport. The champions had lifted the trophy, relegation, promotion was sorted, and everybody travelled down at the middle of May to celebrate the week before the FA Cup final. That's when it always was. But he also made another very, very good point in that 30, 40 years ago, rugby league was played in stadiums that really weren't fit for purpose. And a travel down to London to Wembley was actually going into a stadium that was far better than where you were watching your rugby league week in, week out. We think of Wilderspool with nostalgia, but my God, it wasn't the best, and Central Park and places like that. And to get to Wembley and to see those facilities was a big thing for rugby league fans. And we're being spoilt maybe because we now have stadiums where we're all seater, or we've got great facilities. And Wembley isn't that kind of magical place anymore. Plus, it's been moved around. The Challenge Cup final's been moved around from August to June to July, and there's no fixed date. So there are a lot of factors there. And 65,000 people. I think it was a 78,000 capacity.
Yeah.
In the old days, that would have looked on TV 65,000 in a 78,000 capacity stadium would have looked full 30 years ago.
Yeah, like I say, going back in time, since probably in my age. So last time Wigan played Warrington, let's go there. Last time Wigan played Warrington, Old Wembley was 77,000. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay, and it stayed in and around that until Sheffield played Wigan, and it was 60,000. Then it stayed in the 60s for 3 seasons. It bounced back up in 2003, Leeds Bradford to 71. Then there was a good crowd for Saints Catalans in 2007, 84, 82,000 saw Saints Hull, 85,000 saw Warrington Leeds. So you were getting up to some bigger numbers there. But let's celebrate. Just let's celebrate for a moment. That was the best Challenge Cup attendance since the 2017 Hull FC Wigan. So that's a positive. Again, we try and talk our game up. Let's take a positive here. That's the best attendance. People say, well, it was COVID. Yeah, but that was only one season. Yeah. In the last 7 years, that's the best attendance that we've had. So let's celebrate that. And let's hope, the Rugby Football League have come out this week and have said that next year's final will be the 7th of June, which I think is great because it's the same weekend. And I think we need that level of consistency. And hopefully there was a few people there for a day out that weren't Warrington, weren't Wigan fans who thought, I really enjoyed that. And I've gone out today on these last few days and thought, I'll do that again next year because they know exactly when it's going to be. 7th of June. Any comments from yourself, Steph, before we move on?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed in the crowd. I thought there would have been at least north of 70 there. I think for Leigh Hull KR, it was 58. Is that right? 58,000?
Yeah.
When you look at the size of those two clubs and you're only getting 7,000 more as combined between Wigan and Warrington, I would have expected, for the clubs, those two sizes, I would have expected more. What I would say, though, is I've heard lots of things about, is it time to get rid of Wembley and move it somewhere else and that kind of thing. I think look at Jai Field after that game. I don't know if you clocked it when he was hugging Matty Pete, and he was basically saying to him, like, it's the stuff of dreams, this. And you speak to any of those players if you want to take it away from Wembley.
I think it's got to stay there because I think the moment the Challenge Cup dies when you take it away from Wembley.
100%, and this is the point. It's not a point that we've made tonight in terms of taking it away from Wembley, but it's a point that I've heard quite a lot in the last couple of days. So I just wanted to put that across in terms of, and what I would also say from a fan's point of view, tell that to a Leigh fan from last year. Going to Wembley and what that meant to this town and things like that, and it's. A lot of the ones that are commenting saying taken away from Wembley, it's ones that have probably won it a lot more than the average club and, got a bit used to it maybe. And that's where I completely disagree. What I would say, though, on the attendances, though, this is my last point, is that we have for the last 10, 14 years been in a cost of living crisis. It costs a fortune to go to London. For one person to go, travel down, stay in a hotel maybe overnight, you're talking north of 200 quid, and that's before you've had a beer and spent some money. If you're taking a family, you're north of 500 if you're staying over. So that's got to be factored in as well. You know, not everyone in this great game that we got in our community can afford to go to Wembley. We need to remember that as well.
Well, Sherman
that's a good point, yeah.
He preferred Tottenham to Wembley. Tottenham is, of course, a far more modern stadium. It's an incredible stadium. But, yeah, we get your point on that one as well. Do
you reckon it's worth, just before I go, do you reckon it's worth throwing out into the chat whether people think it's worth they would like to see it moved away from Wembley, just in the chat, just see what the consensus is?
If you want, Greg, if you want.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move.
You're already.
Got a lot to get through, but if we've got time, we'll come back to it. Right, let's get on to it. Leeds raid the Salford Red Devils again in Briers, being announced in the last 48 hours as the new sporting director of the Leeds Rhinos. Great appointment, this. I think everybody's been impressed with what Briers has done at Salford, especially his recruitment. I think some of his recruitment, the Lafayes, the Crofts, the Jackson Hastings of this world, Tyler Dupree, really astute in the transfer market. Now he's got a budget that's bigger. Now he's got a pulling power that's bigger. He's not going to have to jettison players like he's had to do at Salford. So there's quite a lot to go through here. So if we can, gents, I'm just going to ask you to keep this as succinct as possible. We've got about 3 or 4 questions here on this topic. So first and foremost, Greg, Ian Briers, will he bring glory back to the Leeds Rhinos? Yes or no?
Possibly,
Steph. I think if he's done a great job at Salford, and it's no coincidence that he's had Ian Watson and Paul Rowley both doing very, very well under him being like a director, bringing players in. So I think they've got a very good chance of getting some top quality signings coming in.
Fair enough. Next question, where Mr. Briers is concerned. If you were Rowan Smith, would you be concerned, Greg?
Yes. Simply put, yes.
Steph, would you be concerned if you were Rowan Smith?
I would be very, very concerned if I was Rowan Smith.
Yeah, happy days. Next question. Paul Rowley. Will he remain at Salford as their new sporting director, or will he go to Leeds, should Rowan Smith be sacked, as the new coach, Greg?
I think that is what is being put in place. I think steps are being put in place for that to happen.
Leeds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Steph?
That's why Rowan Smith's in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And let's be fair, gentlemen, I think we called this many, many weeks ago. Briers was great for Salford. I wish him all the best. And thank you. Absolutely. He's done a brilliant job there at Salford. And look, it's not all bad news for Salford, because it's been announced today that Sam Stone has signed a 2-year extension. We like Sam Stone here at Super League Row, quality second rower. He's not let anybody down since going to Salford. So a bit of good news there for the Salford Red Devils this week. So yeah,
they're also in for the West Tigers halfback as well.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen that as well. Yeah.
With West paying some of his salary, apparently, which will be amazing for a 23-year-old Aussie halfback.
Well, we'll keep a close eye on that one. But yeah, you're right. I mean, let's be fair, Salford, for all of their attendance issues, financial issues, of course, and all what it goes, they're making some waves in the transfer market. But again, the pulling power, a steady ship rolling in place. We know all the players will have sang the praises of Paul Rowley and his coaching methods. That will be a big draw for a few of these players. That's, players talk, don't they? They talk to each other. If he's not there, do they still have that level of power? We'll wait. We'll see. Right, where we go next? This was interesting. This has been announced today, and I think this is phenomenal news for Leigh Briers. Leigh Briers is going to finish the season at Brisbane, and then to continue his tutelage, he's going to sit under Wayne Bennett at the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I mean, delighted for Leigh. I mean, in terms of doing an apprenticeship as a coach, incredible. I mean, he's already had some brilliant, some brilliant people to work with there at the Brisbane Broncos. But now to go to the next level, I mean, to sit under Wayne Bennett for 2, maybe 3 years, this is really going to push Leigh to a higher level, Greg.
Yeah, he's proved himself at the Broncos, grand finalist last year. you know, he'll have to buy a few jumpers if he's moving from Brisbane to Sydney. But how you know, Wayne Bennett, a great coach. He's going to learn so much, and I think he's eventually going to come back into Super League Leigh Briers, and you know that kind of grounding is going to hold him in such good sway with anybody who's going to, you know, in a few years' time, look at Leigh Briers as potential head coach. You know, it's fantastic for him.
Let's go 3 years early. We might actually look back at this on the highlights reel if we're still going in 3 years. Steph, this had softened the blow for Warrington. Sam Burgess returns to the South Sydney Rabbitohs, probably takes Martin Gleeson with him, but Leigh Briers comes back as head coach the other way.
But I don't know. Leigh seems to be having a very good time out in the NRL, and it's a bit like trying to get a player to come over here, isn't it? You know, I mean, from a Warrington point of view, it'd be a dream. But I mean, the biggest thing about this is he's working under Mr. Miyagi, isn't he? He's going to be waxing on and waxing off. You know, he's just going to become a rugby sensei, isn't he? Over there, he's getting that much knowledge from these top coaches. Who's to say an NRL club's not lining up Leigh Briers as an head coach, and I'm sure they'll be able to pay him quite a bit. I know the thing is with Leigh, he's always going to have that Warrington connection. And I think if he did come to Super League, it'd be to Warrington. But
I just think on that, mate. I mean, you see, for example, Brian McDermott's over there, and he's being touted at the moment as potentially getting a head coach job. He won't get it, you know. But I think the reason that Burgess will become a head coach in the NRL is because of what he did at South. So if Burgess was over, they just don't seem to take the punt on British coaches over there. They don't. So if Leigh wants to be a head coach, the chances are he'd have to come back to go back. I mean, I see a perfect side to side Burgess and Briers, and plenty of up downs on the way as well. Never mind, wax on, wax off there, Mr. Miyagi. You know what I'm saying? Up down, side to side, wax on, wax off. Happy days.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's move quickly on from that one. I think, don't try that one again, Dave.
jeez.
Put the glass
Anyway,
down. I think there might have to be some changes in the Warrington hierarchy before Leigh Briers comes back.
you heard it here first.
I don't think Leigh Briers will come back
until
there have been changes at the top for Warrington, because he wasn't very, very happy at the way he was treated.
Fair enough. More fun at the MKM Stadium. Trey Stewart. Wow. So announced 1 minute, rescinded the next. You just couldn't write it, could you? What's going on there at the MKM at the moment? But in more positive news, it has been announced today that Lewis Martin has extended for 2 more seasons. We've also announced that Davy Litton has extended, and I put on our feed, let's hope the kid gets a chance, because that has been one of the biggest head scratches this season. Davy Litton not getting much game time, especially the way Hull FC have been playing. And Jordan Abdul returns for 2025 as well. Thoughts on the whatever you'd call the sideshow, whatever you want to call it at the moment at Hull FC? How do you get to a point where you announce a signing a couple of days before saying, actually, no, having done a bit more due diligence, he ain't coming?
Yeah, there's kind of trouble in the camp, isn't there? It's a domestic abuse case, apparently. So
yeah, but surely they must have known. Surely they must have known or had rumours of that before they announced.
You would like to think they'd done due diligence, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd have thought so.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I don't know.
They won't be the first and they won't be the last to make that kind of thing. What the important thing on this one is, and it is the most important point, is that they've made the correct decision. There's no place for that.
Exactly.
Spot on. Couldn't agree with you more, mate. Couldn't agree with you more.
Exactly.
Right. So we're all in agreement with that. But yeah, let's hope that Davy Litton gets a bit more of a better shot. Tex Hoy extended at Casford. He's going to stay till 2026.
Great sign.
Yes, he's been a revelation, and a man who will not be named because he's yet to be a member wants to know about David Armstrong. So we'll have a little chat about that, because I mean, it would appear growing. Really is growing now that Armstrong is on his way, or should be on his way, to the Leigh Leopards. For those of you who don't know him that well, played 5 times this season, scored 5 tries. Played a lot in the Queensland Cup, but he had a really good record there. 23 appearances, 18 tries. He's got a lot of pace. He's only, he looks a great prospect, to be fair. He looks a great prospect. And Newcastle, I believe, they tried to keep him, and he's refused. He's thinking of coming over to the Leigh Leopards. He averages about 162 metres a game, so he puts the metres in. He's got a tackle efficiency of just short of 79%. So he's got a decent tackle on him. Plays predominantly fullback. Go on then, Steph. Happy?
We've not signed him yet. So, if we sign him, I mean, we've been talking about it for quite a while now in the Leigh circles. He's been rumoured, but we all thought when Ponga got injured, it is Ponga into the fullback, and Armstrong went into the first team at Newcastle, and it's kind of like set it on fire. I think he scored a hat-trick in the Magic weekend. Which really put him on the radar because everyone was watching. I think a verbal agreement was reached between him and Newcastle, but obviously something's happened because we thought it had gone. The deal was, dead in the water. It does sound like that's been changed. But what I would harbour that with is that, last week Derek said on the Leigh YouTube channel there was a signing coming in on Friday. That's not materialised. We were all expecting Penne to be announced as coming over. That's just gone really quiet. So I think the reason why I'm reluctant is that we all know these rumours come about and whatever. And there is some that are true, but there's a lot that fall over in the last minute.
Yeah.
And Myler's probably on the phone to Armstrong as we speak.
I haven't got enough money, mate. You haven't got enough money. You spent it on a loose forward. But anyway, that's by the by. But no, it'll be interesting to see if he comes on. And look, he will be a quality addition again in those full-back positions. We have got some belters, haven't we? It'd be a really good, solid acquisition. That Paul Seguin, I like Paul Seguin. He signed on for next season at the Dragons. I think that's good business. I like what he's about. I really do. Tom Davies has gone to Hull KR. That's an interesting one.
That is an interesting one because I thought
isn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was going to go to Wakefield.
Yeah, there was a lot of room. A lot of room. It might have been Saints as well.
Yeah, to replace Makinson.
Yeah, so he's ended up a Robin. So good luck to Tom Davies. We know he's got some quality. The lad, there's no doubt about it. And probably the most bizarre one. Don't get this. Ratchford, another year at Warrington. Love Stefan Ratchford. He's been a great club man, but why are we putting cap space and why are we putting money? He's a coach. Just make him a coach.
He's going to be player coach, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but just take. Yeah, I don't get it. But anyway, he's not really getting much game time this year. Good to have around. Coach, yes. Player, no. He's not getting much of a look in this year. You'd like to think we're going to strengthen next year. So is he going to be even further away? Really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. But there you go. So I think we've done a pretty good job there, chaps. I can't think of anything else that I've seen this week in terms of news, players signing, this, that, the other. You seen anything over and above what we talked about?
Kai O'Donnell going to Cowboys has been announced, hasn't it? That was in between the last Super League Raw weekly, I think.
Yeah. So,
no, I think we've covered pretty much everything there, Dave.
Yeah, I do as well. So that's pretty much what's been happening over the last 2 weeks, which of course now means we get to the business end, which is round number 14. As always, this will turn into the prediction show. You wouldn't expect anything less, ladies and gentlemen. So what we'll do, as we always do, is we'll have a little word from our sponsor, and then we'll get straight in to round number 14. And the prediction.
Get a drink.
Here we go.
Love that brunch.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
So there you go, round number 14 fixtures on the screen for you there. This is what we're going to be discussing from now until the end of the show. The Casford Tigers take on the Wigan Warriors once again. Wow. In another game. The Wolves take on the Red Devils. The Robins go up against the Giants. Hull FC take on the Leeds Rhinos. Then it's the Dragons, the Leopards. Broncos against the Saints is where round number 14 fixtures will end. Greg, looking at that list, a couple of good ones, I think, this week. I think the Wolves, Red Devils, that never disappoints. Robins, Giants, I think could be a good game. You'd expect Rhinos, we'll talk about it, but I'm loath to say Rhinos Hull FC, but at some point Hull FC surely have got a fire. And then Dragons, Leopards. I think those are the three. Wolves, Red Devils, Robins, Giants, Dragons, Leopards. Get in the chat. Which of those three, because I think we'd all agree they are the games of the week or the contenders, which one would get your vote? Get in the chat now. Wolves, Red Devils, Robins, Giants, or Dragons, Leopards. Which get your vote? Greg, obviously you'll be going to the Warrington game against the Red Devils. Which other one of those fixtures are you looking forward to see over and above?
I think Dragons, Leopards is probably edging the game of the week.
Yeah,
I must admit. Although Robins, Giants, I mean, that has got the potential. The thing is with this week, everybody apart from Wigan and Warrington have had a week off.
Yeah,
it's kind of a reset. But I think Dragons, Leopards will probably quite possibly be the game of the week this week. Would
you concur with that, Steph?
Yes, I hope it is. But we'll see. But on paper, it should be an absolute cracker. But I do agree. I think the Hull Huddersfield could be a very interesting one, and also Warrington Salford.
Yeah.
Obviously, Warrington, after the disappointment of Wembley, will be looking to put a few wrongs right, won't they? And that's always a good game, Warrington Salford.
It is. Like I say, it's very seldom that Warrington Salford doesn't deliver. It's normally a good game, and of course with the Ian. But I mean, it's mad, isn't it? The last time Warrington played Salford, Paul Rowley had just turned down a move to Hull FC, and this time it's going to be Ian Blease has just packed his suitcase and left for Leeds. Rhinos, right, okay, let's get into it. As always, we've done a bit of analysis before these shows. Here's their dad. We're going to start with the Casford Tigers taking on the Wigan Warriors. Since 1996, the balance of power, not surprisingly, has gone the way of the Wigan Warriors. 45 wins to 17. In terms of form, Casford come into this not too bad. Yes, they lost the last outing, but they won the 3 before that. As for the Wigan Warriors, they've won the last 4 in Super League, and of course the Challenge Cup this weekend. Has that affected them? We'll chat about that. Can they get themselves back up for a night at the Jungle? That's the question. The last time round was at the DW Stadium. That was in round number 8, and it was the Warriors 36-14. If you remember, everybody expected the Warriors to put on a big number because they battered them in the Challenge Cup prior to it. And in fairness, if you remember, that was the Lewis Senior try game. 36-14, Wigan won that. Not as big a margin as many expected. It's second against 10. The attack, I mean, look at that. 357 plays 218. And defence, 406 to 156. Non-surprisingly, the bookies have Wigan 1-5 on, 18-5 if you are a Castleford Tigers fan. In terms of round 14, are there anybody expected back? It's a tight one. Jacob Miller may return. Some Castleford Tigers fans may be saying, hopefully it's an extra week, but I think that's a bit harsh, quite frankly. Jacob Miller is expected potentially to return to the 21-man squad when they're announced later on in the week. Wigan, of course, come off the back of that final. No injury reports from Wigan from the final, but maybe, just maybe, because he might look at resting a few players going into this one, Matty Pete, based on the fact they've just won the Challenge Cup. And let's be fair, 45 wins to 17 in history since 1996. I think Mr. Pete fancies chances to maybe make 3 or 4 changes and still come away with the 2 points. Don't want to influence you fellas, but can you see a shock here? Let's not forget Wakefield in 2023. Wigan went to Wakefield in 2023. Nobody gave Wakey a prayer, and they beat him. We see this a lot. When a team wins the Challenge Cup, the week after they can be caught cold. Do we think, though, that Wigan have got far too much quality, ran too well, for that to happen. Steph, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think we touched on it earlier. The difference is that Wigan's squad this year is just phenomenal. Like they rested some against Warrington. Don't forget, they didn't put the whole full strength side out. I think he will rest a couple of players this week, especially if they've got a niggle. I still think he'll put a very strong side out, and his message to them players will be, Wembley's gone now. We're back to the business, and we can't afford to slip up. And that Super League competition is so tight at the top. You can't lose to Castleford because Saints and Warrington and the rest will be coming after you.
Well, there it is, Steph. As if by magic, my friend, there is the table. The Warriors, as you can see, joint top with Saints going into round 14. Warriors still have that game in hand, as do the Leopards sitting down there in 9th. The Robins, Wolves and Dragons and the Red Devils making up that top 6. We were talking a minute ago there, just quickly going back to the whole fixture list, that perhaps Catalan, Leigh, Greg, you were saying was game of the round. Leigh 9th, Salford a 6th. So when you look at places, there is an argument, I think, for Warrington. Salford. Warrington will want to bounce back from the Challenge final. But yeah, just a little note on that. I think it's a close one. I think between the Warrington and the Leigh game for me.
Yeah. But going back to the Wigan Casford game, I can't see anything but a Wigan win. Kieran will probably be back. Dupre will be back.
Will he?
I would have thought so.
But will he? Because young Mr. Eckersley, did he do enough not to be dropped? I mean, we talk all the time. I mean, Kieran, it's worked out really well for Wigan, really well. They've won the Challenge Cup, but that was a shocker from Kieran. Should Kieran just automatically come back into the team? Because let's be fair,
he shouldn't, but I think he will.
Do you? Well, okay.
Yeah, I think he will. He shouldn't. You're right. He shouldn't. But young Eckersley, how much has that taken out of him? Emotionally.
Dawn saying it was a 3-match ban for Kieran and Dupre.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. Yeah. Night, everybody. Night. Yeah.
Well done, Dawn.
Yeah. Cheers, Dawn.
But for me, Kieran shouldn't come straight back in when that 3-match ban's done anyway.
No, but he will probably make changes. Yes, they did, Stuart. They made everybody makes mistakes, as Hannah Montana once said. I think he will make some changes, but I can't see. It's in the DNA to win. They'll go there. It'll just be business as usual. 18 plus. 18 plus,
Steph. 18 plus.
Yeah.
We've all got 18 plus. The fans forum. Let's just get into the chat. Stephen Itchus, good evening, Stephen. A new member last week. Great to have you back with us this week. 9-17. You don't see it as a blowout. That's interesting. Somebody who does is our friend Dot Kirkby up there in Hull. She's seen it. Wigan 18 plus from her. John Wilkinson, he's gone 16 plus there to the Wigan Warriors. Peter Mason being very accurate. He's gone 34 points to 6. That's a very accurate score. There must be some methodology in that. Our friend Nicola Burtonwood couldn't come to the last quiz. I hope she's at this one. Wigan 18 plus. Leigh Partington's gone the same as well. No major surprises there. Right, okay. So everybody expects a win there for the Wigan Warriors at the Casford Tigers. To agree, I think that should be pretty much a straightforward game for Wigan. One that's not going to be straightforward is Warrington taking on the Salford Red Devils. Since 1997, Warrington have won 37. The Red Devils have won 24. The form, well, you can see it there. Warrington have lost back-to-back against Wigan. Of course, this is just the Super League that we're talking about here. Warrington have won 3 in the last 5 in Super League, as too have the Salford Red Devils. The last time round, of course, was round 9 at the Salford Community Stadium, 17 points to 10. Who can forget that was the day where Leon Hayes' season came to an end in tragic circumstances. The positions, 4th against 6th. This is what we're saying. This is as tight as it comes, really, this week. 4th against 6th. The attack, 320 for Warrington, 250 for the Salford Red Devils. The defence, 170 for Warrington, 250 1.56 for the Salford Red Devils. The bookies have Warrington as a 1-4 favourite, 16-5, the Salford Red Devils. We'll start with the Red Devils in terms of where we are. No, not expected that Adam Sidlow, Jack Ormond-Wood, Cade Cuss, Ben Halliwell or Matty Forster will be back. So quite an extensive list there for them. As for Warrington, of course, now we knew about Joe Philbin being out. He's not going to be back until approximately round 21. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, we don't know yet the prognosis of his back injury. That'll probably come out during the course of the week. And Geordie Crowther as well. He picked up a leg injury in the final as well. So quite a few issues there in the pack for Warrington. No Fitzgibbon, Crowther or Philbin for this particular game. It should be a belter. Like I say, I remember, I think it was last year. It was a belting game at the Halliwell Jones Stadium when Salford came to town. It was they got off to a flyer, if you remember Salford in that one, Greg.
Yeah.
Warrington came roaring back. It was the Fuel scored a try. Was it Tyler Dupree got a bit upset with behind it? Was it before he went to Wigan? And he threw Tyler Dupree did him behind the line for one of his tries, and he threw the ball at his head.
It exactly was Tyler Dupree, yeah.
Knowledge, sir, knowledge. Right, let's crack on.
Yes.
Let's crack on. What's your thoughts?
I remember the last time we went to Wembley, we played Salford. We played at Wembley on the Saturday, and Sky and their Infinite Wisdom made us play Salford away on the Thursday night. Well done, guys. And we got tated because we put a youthful side out. I don't think that'll be the case this time. I think Warrington will be absolutely smarting, and I think they have to win this game. There's no ifs and buts about this one. They have to win this game, and I think they will. And I think it'll be 18 plus. I think Holroyd might be in. I think a few other youngsters might come in. Max Wood, if he's fit, will come in. You know, the players who played against Wigan and did really, really well. I think a couple of those will come in. I think Warrington have to win this. And I think they will. And I think Salford always come to the Halliwell Jones and put on a really, really good performance. But the week off sometimes makes you a bit rusty, as was proved at Wembley on Saturday. So Warrington 18 plus.
Fair enough. Steph, your thoughts on this one?
I'm pretty much with Reggie. And just to point on that, I did say about resting players before Wembley. Just to rub that one in, even though I did back you to it. But no, I think I think Warrington bounced back with a vengeance this week. I think they'll be absolutely devastated with that performance they served up at Wembley, but just by the standards they've set themselves this season. And I think Sam will have them motivated. I think Salford will come confident. And I think Sneed's going to be a big factor in the game, as he always is. But that's where Sam's got to do his job this week and look at the previous games, especially that one you lost earlier in the season, and identify where those threats are from Salford and nullify them. And I think he will. I think he's that type of coach that does learn from that. And I'm sure. The Warrington fans at Wembley were terrific, even in defeat, and I'm sure they'll be there at the Halliwell Jones on Friday night to roll them on to an 18 plus victory.
Fair enough. Into the chat, Craig Rigby, wire 18 plus. Don Baker there saying Nene McDonald to score. Remember, Nene McDonald went off in the last game. He looked in a bit of a bad way. No word on that. So we'll keep a close eye on that over the coming days. It'd be interesting to see if Nene McDonald is in the 21-man squad. Nothing has been announced at this stage. Callum Calver, he's gone wire 9 to 17. George Woodall, good evening, George. He's gone wire 20 points to 12. Nicola Burtonwood, wire 9 to 17. Doug Kirkby, the same. The man who will not be mentioned, Salford 1 to 8. Mark Smith, wire 9 to 17. John Wilkinson, wire 6 plus. Dawn Baker says 4 either way. Right, let's just fill in the blanks. Gary Schofield, he's gone wire 1 to 18. I'm going wire 9 to 17. I do think they will bounce back. Joel sees it the same, wire 9 to 17. And the consensus on the forum was wire 9 to 17 this week. So that's where we are there. Right, let's jump along now to another potentially interesting game, this one. Which one should we do first? We'll do that one first. We'll do Hull KR taking on the Huddersfield Giants. Right, that's where we're going to go next. Since 2007, It's 19-13 in the favour of Huddersfield Giants in the head-to-heads between these two teams. In terms of form, well, the last time out, Huddersfield got their first win in 5. As for Hull KR, they have won 4 of the last 5. The last time round was round number 5. Round number 5 was the last time these two met, and it was a win at the John Smith Stadium, 24 points to 12 in favour of Hull KR. It's third Hull KR taking on 8th Huddersfield Giants. The attack, 338 to 274 in the favour of Hull KR. The defence, not surprisingly, based on the positions in the league, Hull KR conceded 183 this year to 6-3 the Giants. It's a 1-4 on for Hull KR, 3-1 the Huddersfield Giants. Right, let's get into some injury news before we go to Reggie. Oliver Gildart expected maybe to miss this one, and Joe Burgess is also definitely out. I've seen that on the Hull Kingston Rovers feeds today on Facebook. That is a definite no, Joe Burgess, for this game. As for the Huddersfield Giants, lot of to be confirmed here. Andre Savelio, Adam Swift expected to be out. Matty English, he was off with concussion, might get back into the squad, might not. Still no word on Jack Murchie, and this would be a hammer blow. Leroy Cudjoe also has a groin issue. Whether that's going to keep him out or not this coming weekend, we will wait and we will see. Like I say, fascinating game. Again, really looking forward to this one. It's at Craven Park, and I think Hull KR have proven throughout this season that they're a different entity at Craven Park. They really, really are. That said, Huddersfield have performed better on the road than they have at the John Smiths. So it makes for a really interesting, fascinating debate. Greg, what's your thoughts on this one? Oh, hang on a minute. Let's. There you go, mate. We didn't hear you then. Go for it.
Gotta go.
Go.
I'm having trouble tonight.
Gremlins, go for it.
I was going to say something really profound there. I forgot. No, Hull KR have created a great atmosphere there this season. Started, they've been there a couple of seasons that they've had a real good atmosphere building. Lost the last couple. I think the injuries will hit Huddersfield hard. And I think it'll be closer than some people say. I'm going 9-17 Hull KR.
9-17. Well, Greg Roach, of course, the sultry tones of Greg Roach. Hopefully they're back for the final whistle this coming Monday. Apologies, no final whistle for the Challenge Cup final, but we will be back for round number 14 this coming Monday morning. We will be recording that on Sunday, and just wouldn't be the final whistle without the sultry tones of Mr. Roach. He says it's a big game for the Giants' playoff ambitions. He's not giving up hope, Steph, of Huddersfield Giants getting into the top 6. Lovely to see, a bit of pride, passion and faith in his club. Do you agree? Do you think they could go and do this, or are you going with KR?
I think Reggie's made a good point on the injuries. I think Huddersfield are suffering. They're having a bit of a Leigh phase, at the moment, aren't they? From earlier in the season. So I do think, it's a tough ask to go to KR when you got a fully fit squad, isn't it? They're at home, they're just phenomenal. We kept them to 12 in the last round. Huddersfield, I think, are very evenly matched with Leigh at the moment. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout win, but it potentially could be. That's how good Hull KR. If they turn it on, it could be. But I think it's going to be a bit closer. I've gone the same as Reggie. I've gone 9-17 Hull KR.
9-17. Callum Calvary says the last game flattered the Giants. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I thought, the Giants were pretty poor, it has to be said. But let's just quickly go through. Mark Smith, good evening to you. Robin's 9-17. Dawn Baker, she's gone 9-17 as well. Dawn Kirkby, she's back in home advantage, 9-17. Wouldn't expect anything less from you, Dawn. Well, let's be fair. Stephen Eachus, he's with us again. Hull KR, 9-17. By all accounts, the man who will not be named, he's looking forward to his birthday. Something's getting wrapped up in a big bow for him, by all accounts.
10 days. 10 days away.
Time. Look forward to seeing that. How exciting for us all. Nicola Burtonwood, 9-17. She's going Hull KR. Freddie McGilvey, good evening to Uncle Freddie. He'll be there at Craven Park. There's no doubt about it. It wouldn't be a Huddersfield Giants game without Uncle Freddie. Hope you enjoyed the Wakey win at the weekend, sir. Great to have your company. He's going KR. 8-17. Not that we do 8-17, but as it's Uncle Freddie, he's having one foot in each camp. There you go. Bit of a cheat there from Mr. Uncle Freddie there.
Spread your bets, Freddie.
Unbelievable.
You like Freddie. You know yourself out, mate.
Unbelievable. I don't know, liberties, I call it. Anyway, let's get into it. So Gary Schofield, where he's got 18 KR, 18 plus. He sees a big win, as do I. I'm sorry. I agree. I thought again, even with that win against FC, they were poor. And I'm going KR 18 plus. Joel, he's gone KR 120. Apologies from Joel. He hopes to be with us back next week. He's got other engagements this evening. Believe me, if he could be here, he would. And finally, the fans forum 18 plus to Hull KR. So a lot of love there for KR. And of course, actually, something we forgot to mention, a lot of rumours that Seb Ikehefo has been groomed. Bradford Bulls. Groom's probably the wrong word. He's been courted. Courted's the right word. He's been courted by Bradford, I believe.
Right.
I know. There you go. No, it's not that kind of show, ladies and gentlemen. Courted. Being courted by
Let's move on.
Let's just move on pretty quickly. Anyway, there you go. But anyway, it should be interesting. Callum Calver, well, that's made Callum's night. He's laughing his head off. Hey, it's past the watershed. We're fine. We're safe. It's not a problem. Believe you me, no Seb Ikehefos have been harmed in the making of this program. Okay, let's get into the next one. Let's go and have a look at FC against the Leeds Rhinos. This one is, of course, a massive game all of a sudden for Rowan Smith, especially with the new boss in the stands, even though he doesn't officially start until Monday. History since 1998, massive tail of the tape win there for the Leeds Rhinos, 45 wins to 18. Of course, Hull FC, the last 5 in Super League, all losses. As for the Rhinos, 3 wins from the last 5, and of course, 1 last time out. The last time these two met was in round number 9 at the MKM, and it was an 18-12 win to Leeds. So, that was a tight affair, if you recall, back in the day in round 9. Position in the league, 7th plays 11th. The attack, 246 to 172 in the favour of the Leeds Rhinos. But the defence is where it's going to really hurt Hull FC fans. 440 points conceded this season to the Leeds Rhinos, 242. Perhaps that is the killer stat of all of them. Hull FC, 19-10, 4-9. The Rhinos. And when you look down the list of players that they're going to be missing now, good news for FC. Jack Charles might be back for this one. That'd be handy. Harvey Barron, who can forget him? He was in Team of the Week a few weeks back. Had a great game. If you remember that one, Harvey, a try and an assist, got him into Team of the Week. He had a really solid match. He could be back. However, Joe Cater, still no Carlos Timovari, Danny Houghton, and Liam Sutcliffe, all expected to be missing for this game. As for the Leeds Rhinos, still no Bentley, of course, still no Holroyd, no Donaldson, no Foster-Tua, Riley Lum, of course. But I think the good news for them is there's not an awful lot of new problems. Matty Russell, of course, who went there on loan, he should be fit for this one. Andy Ackers should return as well. Lewis Roberts also could return on the wing. So in terms of who's coming into this game in better health, gentlemen, it would appear to be the Leeds Rhinos. They're also in a better league position, in better form, etc. Steph, what's your thoughts? Hull FC, Leeds.
I do think Hull have been improving a bit. I think they have been getting better. They're not the team that was getting beat by 50, earlier in the season. I think they have slightly steadied the ship there a little bit. And I don't think Leeds have been setting the world on fire either. I just don't see it being a blowout score, this one. I think it being quite close, at least for the first 60 minutes. Maybe Leeds get a couple of scores at the end to pull away. I've gone Leeds 9-17.
Yeah. I mean, and it's good counsel, Greg, certain players there at Hull FC that are playing well. I mean, the young kid Moy, he's getting better with every game. Herman SAS has been absolutely sensational for him, and he has. Truman's getting stronger week on week as well. So there are little glimmers of light there. The question is, will they shine against Leeds and get the job done?
We've seen over the last few weeks, Hull have let teams get away from them and then come back and just left it too late. And I could probably see that pattern repeating itself. That Leeds will have a great start and Hull will claw it back. And I'm with Steph. I don't think Leeds are going to have it all their own way. I think Hull will fall short, I must admit, but I'm going Rhinos 1-8.
Yeah, you are seeing.
I think that it's another one of those games where Rhinos will have a great start and Hull suddenly start playing and bring it back, but they've left it too late.
Well, I mean, a couple of great comments here in the chat. First and foremost, Callum Calver, big difference in attitude in the camp for him. Jack Walker, he's hoping that Jack Walker plays. I think all of us from the outside looking in, shocked. I know Moy's playing well. You know, I just think Jack Walker was your best player, though. I mean, I've said this, I think, in the last show. I think he was absolutely sensational. Right. Phil Webster says he agrees with Steph. He seems it for the first 80 seconds of the game. Well done, Phil. Nice.
Yeah, like it was at Wembley, yeah.
But I think this is a good point from Alex Sharp. Leeds 1-8, emotional day. First Leeds game since Burrow died. Think occasion might get to the players or they will have to fire lit by it. 1-8, the Rhinos. I mean, that's a good point. I think you know, I think it's a different Leeds Rhinos team. I think, you know, dare I say it, the players at Leeds, there's a few in there that probably have come through the system, maybe were coached by Rob when he retired, and I get that. But the likes of a Brody Croft, etc., they're going to be no further touched by this than Warrington, Leigh, and Catalan players. They're not. I think it's the fans. It's what goes on the terraces. I think that's the bit, and that could spill onto the pitch, because I do think the Leeds fans won't wait for Headingley. Yes, the one at Headingley will be a very emotional game, first game back at Headingley, but I don't think they'll wait for that. I think that they will be in full voice and in full tribute to Rob this weekend, and rightly so. So that's going to be interesting to monitor, and I know those Leeds fans will do them proud. And you know what? I also think, you know, expect a lot of class from Hull FC. I would expect they will be doing quite a bit this weekend to honour the great man himself. Yeah, so there you go. I think who's that? Is that Dawn Kirby? Dawn Kirby says that Jack's been dropped because he called out the environment at FC. Bottom line is, you know, if the cap fits, you know, I mean, quite frankly, the donkey's backside was that big. Anybody could have put the tail on it, couldn't they? But anyway, that's another thing. That's by the by.
That was Tex issue, wasn't it?
What's that?
Tex issue was the culture around the club.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, yeah. Anyway, but anyway, we'll move on. So Hull FC taking on Leeds. Let's go through it. Gary Schofield, he's gone Leeds 9-17. No surprise there. I'm going 18 plus Leeds. I just am. I just think, you know, you look at who they've got out and who they've got in. I'm going to go Leeds by a score here. I think Rowan Smith needs it. I think they'll deliver it, and I think some of their key personnel, the likes of Newman, Handley, back. Really important. Ackers should hopefully be back for them. I think Aledzki has really started to put a shift in the last 6 or 7 rounds. So, you know, they're looking in better fettle all of a sudden, Leeds. Maybe just maybe better times are on the way. We'll have to wait and see. Jolie's gone Leeds 9-17, and the fans' form have gone Leeds 18 plus. Callum Calver saying cheers, Dave. What, for pinning a tail on a donkey? What are you telling me cheers for, Callum? Give us a clue, my friend. Always like a party game.
Back in Leeds, I think, mate.
All right, okay. Always like a party game, though. Anyway, we move on. Let's get into the. Oh, yes, absolutely. Nothing, not those type of parties. I know where you go with your car keys. We move on. Let's get into the Catalan Dragons taking on the Leigh Leopards. Here we go. It's a good job we've been mates for many years. Right, history since 2017. Catalan Dragons 7, the Leigh Leopards 1. Wow. But Catalan are not in good form. 1 win in the last 5 in Super League. Compare that to the Leopards. Yes, they lost last time out, but they've won 3 and drew 1 also in the last 5. And let's not forget that 1 win that the Leigh Leopards have put on the Catalan Dragons came this year in round 9 at the LSV in what was a masterclass of rugby league. That's what it was. Leigh, I don't think, have played better than that all season. They were simply superb. 30 points to 2 at the LSV. It's 5th against 9th. Look at the attack. Now, let's not forget, Leigh have played a game less. That's quite interesting. 264, 244, just 20 points in attack separates Catalan from Leigh, and Leigh have had that one game less to play. And if you look at the defence as well, yes, Catalan have a better defence, but we must, just bear in mind, Leigh have played one game less than Catalan. Catalan there having a 14-point better defence this season. The bookies, though, do see it as a Dragons win 1-3, Leopards 5-2. But what we do know is that this could almost be a home game for the Leigh Leopards, going in numbers to the point where Catalan have stopped selling the Leopards fans tickets. I salute you, every single one of you. Exceptional effort from the Leigh Leopards supporters. They'll be there in mass. Mr. Sale knows how to treat Mrs. Sale. He's taking her over for a nice Chateaubriand, a little bit of Rhino, and a Leigh Leopards game to finish for dessert. Good lad. Anyway, before we come to Steph and he can bask in the glory of that, let's go to the Catalan Dragons. Mate, lot of injuries. Potentially. None of these confirmed. The one that has been confirmed is Mike McMeekin. Gone till September. We're not getting any of him. We know that Takiaho probably won't play. Might make it, but more than likely not. Then there's a list as long as your arm in terms of potentially players that are not going to be there. Manu Mao, Tanguy Zenon, Paul Seguer, Mickey McAloran, Bailey Simonon, Arthur Romano, Ben Garcia, Tariq Sims, Maximo Ikavalu. The list is as long as your arm. The good news for Catalan Dragons, though, that Ulrich de Costa could return. Now, don't get me wrong, some of those may feature, but at this moment in time, everybody that I've just mentioned are either out or a doubt for this game. That is a hell of a list for the Catalan Dragons, who are not in good form. You compare that to the Leigh Leopards. We know Asiata's out. He's gone. Hopefully, Steph's got the inside track. Gareth O'Brien, we believe, and Matt Davis expected to make this one. Robbie Mulhern the week after. And even John Asiata might be back to face the Rhinos. I've read that as well somewhere. Steph will show this up in a minute for me. Oliver Holmes could also be back as well. So, potential back for this one. O'Brien, Ollie Holmes, Matt Davis with Mulhern and Asiata in a week's time. So that's really good news for you, Leigh Leopards fans, to know that they're coming back. I think you're a completely different team with Robbie Mulhern in the front row with Tom Amone. And of course, we know what John Asiata is all about. I'll come to you last, Steph, because then you can give us the inside track and tell us what wonderful things you've got planned for Mrs. Sale above the Rugby League. Greg, over to you. Leopards against Catalan in Perpignan.
Yeah, follow that one. I think Catalan have got a lot of injuries. This, for me, is game of the week because I think it's going to be a real good game. Catalan will have some probably younger players out there. Leigh have got some good players back. It's always a difficult place to go, is Catalan. But I am going to go Leigh 1-8. Sorry. Cancel your flights, Leigh fans.
We're not going, Vic.
She'll come in a minute, won't she? Terminator and a dressing gown.
To be honest, Steph, she didn't want to go anyway because she don't like Chateaubriand.
Do you give the Rhino refund flights?
She don't like Chateaubriand. She prefers a rosé.
Right. So go on then, Steph. You've got the. Sorry, Greg. What are you going? Leigh 1-8.
Leigh 1-8.
Good man. Right, go on then, Steph. Inside track. Am I right? Is O'Brien back? Is Davis back? How far away Mulhern and Asiata? And then talk to us about this game and where you see it going, mate.
Yeah, you're spot on as usual, Mr. Statman. O'Brien, Holmes, and Davis all potentially could feature in this one. I don't think they will. I don't think all three will feature in it, but they are back in contention. Mulhern and Asiata potentially next week, but more than likely for the Wigan game, which I think is probably the right thing to do because we have an international break as well in between the Wigan game. So I think it's 3 weeks until that game. So I'd expect him to save Asiata and Mulhern for that one. So that's the injury news, hot off the press.
Okay.
Well, firstly as well, I saw right at the beginning of the show, hello to the Leigh fans who are already there. I know there's quite a lot who've already gone out. There's some that had some flights cancelled yesterday, which so if you are listening to this and you got there safe, brilliant. Hope you've all managed to travel there safely. The numbers are just phenomenal that we're taking over for this one. I think it's a Super League record in terms of the amount of away fans that are going. Considering, like I was saying before about Wembley and the cost of living crisis, that's unbelievable. And I think officially it's 1,500. But the reason why Catalan have put that statement out is because the Leigh fans are buying tickets in the Catalan end. Right. So the rumor is that it's north of 2,000 Leigh fans that are going out to Catalan. So if anything, the atmosphere at Catalan's amazing anyway, with the pyrotechnics, which why they're allowed them, but the clubs can't have flares. I don't know, but anyway, it's always a brilliant atmosphere in Catalan. It's not going to be no different. Perpignan is going to be rocking. I've had my Catalan cut ready. I'm all good to go.
I noticed that you were aerodynamic this evening, sir. Very nice.
They get the annual Catalan cut in. So no, we fly out on Friday. You know how much I love going to Catalan. I think it's my 6th time to Catalan. So we're looking forward to what will be an amazing weekend, come whatever the result is. But the last times we played them there, we've been very, very close games. I think that the last time we played them in June, they raced out to a 20-0 start. They are like balls on the pitch. Hopefully none of that. They raced out to 20-0 start, and then we came back, and then it was just for a soft interception try that cost us the game there, which was devastating. So I do think they've got some key injuries, Catalan. I think Meekin's out, isn't he?
Yeah,
as well, which will be huge for them when going against our pack. I think if Ipapi is fit, because he didn't look fit against OKR. If he's fit, then that could be very dangerous for us. I think it's going to be a very close game, but I think this is our time to beat them. I think we've hopefully they'll be buoyed by the crowd and the fans can get them over the line. So I don't think it'll be a big score by any means. I think it's going to be a very, very close game, and I've gone Leigh 1-8.
Fair enough. Right. Okay. Lovely. How did Dave and Greg feel about Warrington letting a couple of Wolves loose on the Alabama Jones pitch? We had Wolves there this season, early in the season, but they kept them under control. Right, let's have a quick look up and down the chat. Steve Eachus, he's gone Dragons 1-8. Craig Rigby's gone Leigh 1-8. Freddie McGilvey's gone Dragons 1-8. Connor Pickerman's gone Leigh 1-8. There's a little bit of a tune coming here, boys. But I mean, it really is. It's back and two this in terms of where people see it. Dawn says that the Leopards are on the rise. I mean, no surprise. Matty Sale's gone Dragons 1-8. John Wilkinson, Dragons 8-17. John's making up his new rules now. Good lad, keeping his foot in each camp. Well done. So that's where they all are. Right, let's go right away through him. Gary Schofield's gone Catalan 9-17. Don't think he'd have seen that injury list when he predicted that. I don't see it that big. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think Leigh will do him. I do. I think Leigh will do him. I'm going to go Leigh Leopards. I'm going to go Leigh 1-8. Greg's gone Leigh 1-8. Joel's gone Catalan 1-8. We've already heard from Steph 1-8 to Leigh, and the fans forum have gone Catalans 9-17. So, like I say, complete split, which is what you want to see. That is exactly what you want to see, because hopefully it suggests that we're going to have a belting game down there in Perpignan. Great entertainment on a Saturday. Prime time.
We may even get some live streams from Perpignan. But I will definitely be going on the Final Whistle podcast on the Sunday, though, from Perpignan.
All the way from down in the south. Marvelous.
Yes.
Marvelous. Well, Leigh, just to give a couple of our members a shout out, Nicola Burton's gone Leigh 1-8, and Callum Calver has also gone Leigh 1-8. Right, it's that time of the show. Get your questions in the chat. If you've got a good question, bang it in the chat. We'll have a little pick a couple out before the end of the show. Any question that you want to ask the panel this evening, we'll give it our best shot in answering those questions, because of course the last one I think is going to be a really quick debate. It's the London Broncos taking on the Saints. 40 wins to 8 since 96 in the Saints' favour. London 1 win in 5. The Saints 4 wins in 5. The last time round was round 1, and I think remember doing the show. I think a lot of us were pleasantly surprised it was only 40 points to 4 that night at the Totally Wicked Stadium. It's first against 12. It's first against 12. Attack 353, plays 134. Defence 510 conceded by London this season. 136 the Saints. 16-1 if you fancy a flutter on London, and they're not taking any bets on Betfred where Saints are concerned, which pretty much tells you where they see this game. Right, the London Broncos. Let's have a quick look at those. No Emmanuel Wayne still, he's out. Good news, Dean Parata should be back. Having come back, he's now possibly out again. Ethan Natoli, that's going to be a big blow. Jack Campagnolo, he actually went back to training last week. Whether he gets there or not, we will have to wait and see. McCarney as well, he should return. So Parata and McCarney, they should be in the squad for London. As for the Saints, well, we know their injury list. No Wingfield, no Walmsley, no Whitley, no Knowles. Batchelor out as well, no Lomax. And Conrad Hull is a doubt. But again, such is the strength of the St. Helens squad. It would take, well, it's a bookie killer, quite frankly. It's an absolute bookie killer if London was to win this one. And somebody was to put a flutter on it. I just don't see it. Greg, do you see it?
No, 18 plus Saints.
Fabulous. Steph?
I think we can get to the question of the week, 18 plus Saints.
Fantastic. And it's not surprising. Everybody, Joel, Gary Schofield, the fans forum, Pavlov and his dogs, Doddle and Emu, Grot Bags, the Crankies, they're all doing the same thing. It's 18 plus for the Saints.
Dalton Baker's gone 30 plus the Saints.
Well, there you go. Oh, yeah. Hang on a moment. The USA Rugby League are with us. I'm doing my first Rugby League game this weekend. I'm shadowing a ref. San Diego Barracudas versus the Los Angeles Mongrels. Fair play, yellow card. But hopefully nobody saw the light bit, and I certainly won't read it.
I think there's 2 words in there.
I think there was. Grot Bags, Don Baker, thoroughly enjoying that one. But yeah, do you know what? Fair play to him. Good to see the game being played over in the States, and good luck to our friends over there, USA Rugby League, getting on the field and doing what you're going to do, which is fantastic. Right, question. Greg wrote straight in. Being fashion icons of Super League Raw, your favourite shirt of the season thus far? Nice question, Greg. Very nice question. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. The retro shirt.
He's for you to say.
Retro shirt that Warrington wore against Wigan at Halliwell Jones before the cup final.
Right. Okay. Steph?
I quite like Salford's away shirt.
The black one?
The white one with the black and red.
Oh, yeah. The retro one.
The retro one, yeah. A bit like, obviously, a bit of a Man United bias to club football, but I do quite like the simplicity of that one. But, no, retracted.
Go.
London Brewdog kit.
The London Brewdog.
I love it.
Yeah. I've said this when we were at Wembley, mate. I've always had a real soft spot for the Harlequin style London shirt. When they wore that, it was like, why don't you wear that? Because that's London for me. That is London shirt. So I've got a bit of a soft spot for that one. That's a really, really good question.
So Jess Stanley, Saints away kit. That's a nice kit. The black one, Jess. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a nice kit. That one.
Yeah, it is. It is. To be fair, I'm just going through now the kits in my head. I've always liked I've always had a soft spot for the Catalans shirts. I think the Catalans shirts are nice shirts as well. But yeah, because they're back in Super League and because I like the look of it when it's on a rugby league field, I do like the London away. I do. Got a soft spot for that one.
The Leigh away one's nice. The black and gold one. That's very Catalan-esque.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
and obviously the Brisbane Broncos away kit, the white one with the diamonds and the collar. That's a great kit.
Right, Dawn Baker's in. Here we go. The mess up of the 3 games for Wigan in 10 days, 3 for Leigh in 11 days. Should it have been planned for international weekend, Steph?
What would the Wigan players be playing in the international weekend?
They will be. Yeah. Well, this goes back to they'd have to basically pull the players out, wouldn't they, to play the fixture?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be more than happy with that because we'd only have Mullen. So brilliant. Happy days.
No, I think what they'd have to do, because if you remember, I was saying that perhaps this would have been a solution to the Warrington game with Wigan prior to the Challenge Cup. Is I think to do this, they'd have to give dispensation for the Wigan players to play for England. Not that it matters, because like I say, it's France. I mean, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry at any of our French viewers, but if England don't go over there and put a good score on, then something's just not. Anyway. So for me, it's a shout. It won't happen, but it's a shout.
I mean, the problem is where do you do it? And I think if from an RFL's perspective, the international, it's a bit like us playing the same weekend as Wembley final. You know, they want people to watch the international and the focus to be on that. So I know they could do it if they did it on a different day and stuff, but for me, I don't. They've done it quite well, I think, because it's. I think we play the Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, or something like that. I think it is. It's not. They've done it quite well. That's wrong what I've just said, but they've done it so it's 4 or 5 days apart. So I don't think it's too bad.
Alex Sharp. What a ledge. You could pick 17 watching to beat France. I'll tell you what, you couldn't pick us to beat France.
I'll give it a good go.
We'd have a do at some drinking wine, Dave.
Yeah, we'd certainly give them a schooling on that one. Absolutely right. I'll tell you what's an interesting. Nobody's put this one in the chat, but as we've been talking, it's just coming to my head. You know, it's that time again this week where Sky decided which games they want to show in August, and you know, games have been changed around lastminute.com. And again, this really, I feel for the season ticket holders here, because one of the Warrington games has changed, and now it's gone from a day when I'm not working to a day when I am. Yeah. And it's just like, you pay for a season ticket at the start of the season, you get a fixture list, you move your shifts around, you move your life around, and then 11th hour, in comes Sky. Oh, we're bringing it forward 24 hours.
Yeah. And that has got to stop as far as I'm concerned.
Shocking.
Has to stop.
Shocking.
But it's been the problem with Sky is the supporters are just collateral damage supporters when it comes to Sky.
With all games on TV now, though, as well, is why should it? There's no reason why they can't. But the
pick, isn't it? Yeah, but it's their pick from August. They're only showing 2, and they have the pick of the 2. The rest are on the screen.
I know, but they're all on Sky anyway. They're all streamed on Sky, and they're all on the Sky platform.
Yeah.
So they're going about this prime time thing. We've no Thursday night games this week.
Yeah,
just when everybody watches it. So they're contradicting themselves with that argument.
And then they put up 3 games.
Yeah.
Friday when the European Championships are kicking off.
Yeah.
Have those 3 games on the Thursday.
Well, Mark Smith there, he's having to travel over from Hull on a Thursday.
Going back to this Wigan League game, I think you and David Sadler spoke about this, not this season, but last season, in that, the World Club Championship, maybe play it 2 weeks after both grand finals.
Yeah.
And that gets rid of this. Whether you play it neutral, whether you go to Dubai or wherever they were touting playing it in November, Las Vegas, wherever, have the game in November, the World Club Championship, when both seasons are finished, a week off, and then play it wherever you're going to play that game, pick a venue and play it in November. And then after both grand finals are finished, 2 weeks after, and then you get rid of this stupidity of having a game floating around where you don't know where you're going to play it, and depending on which teams get to the Challenge Cup final and who's playing where. Again, utter madness, utter just
just nonsense.
Yeah,
it's nonsense. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Right, that's been another hour and 40 minutes, gentlemen. It's been another great edition of Super League Raw Weekly. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, tickets are on sale now. The quiz night, the 17th of June, this coming Monday, 8 p.m. That's right, nice prize for the winner. Be approximately 25 quid worth of prizes there on the night. Very, very affordable quiz. Come and enjoy a bit of community spirit, bit of fun, bit of banter, bit of laugh. Be there. You don't want to miss it. And also, of course, as we've already mentioned, why not go the full hog? Be the new Matthew Sale. Be the new member of Super League Raw. Loads of benefits. Go to our Patreon website right now, www.patreon.com/Super League Raw. Go over there. There is a membership for every pocket. We really do need your support. We hope you enjoy what we're doing. Everything comes back this week. Yes, I've taken the opportunity to have a little bit of a rest. You know, a lot of production goes into this, but we're back this week. We're going to get it all back again. So we've got the news coming for you on Thursday. Game of the week will be selected. I'll put a poll out tomorrow. Whatever wins the poll, that's what Game of the Week show will become. In the Sheds will return. They're back. Final Whistle will be back. We'll be back this time next week, 8 p.m. for more Super League Raw Weekly. And if you haven't watched it already, do go over to our YouTube channel, watch the Rob Burrow tribute show. It was a wonderful show. We had a good hour chatting about the great man. A couple of hours after the announcement, quite a few people watching, some wonderful tributes in there. If you can't watch it, then listen to it on your way into work. Go over to Amazon, Apple, or Spotify, download it, and listen to the Super League Raw Rob Burrow tribute show. It's a great watch, and I think we did a pretty good job of paying homage to the great man himself. Gentlemen, as always, couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much indeed for your company this evening.
Thank you very much, and safe trip to all the Leigh fans going out to Catalans.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you all there, and we'll share a bottle of vino or two.
Outstanding. And as you can see there, we're all chasing him down. Joel Scholes not with us tonight. He still leads the prediction lead, 208 to 204 over Schofield. I'm on 9.5. Steph, of course, Greg there, 1 point better. Of course, remember I didn't put him above him on the graphic, but he is 1 point better. There is Mr.
Bullying.
There he is. And of course, the fans form a long way off. So will that change? I'm sure it will over the course of the next coming days. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure. Let's remind you who the top performers are in Super League after 13 rounds, and we will be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. for more Super League Raw Weekly. Safe travels, Steph. You can't beat a bit of weekly. All the best now.
See you soon, guys.
Here are your top performers after 30 rounds of the Betfred Super League. The top try scorer continues to be Liam Marshall of the Wigan Warriors with 12. The most try assists have come from 9 levels of Hulk AR with 15. The most meters made in Super League despite not playing this week is once again Matt Duffy with 2,243. The most tackle busts now over the ton is Tim Lafay with 103 for the Salford Red Devils, whilst the most clean breaks continues to be Matt Duffy with 14. The most offloads have come from Hakeem Maludi of the London Broncos with 29, whilst the hard meter maker of Super League is once again Paul Vaughan with 1,272. The most tackles made is from the Leeds Rhinos captain Cameron Smith with 513. And finally, still on top of the goal-kicking chart is Mark Sneed of the Salford Red Devils with 44. These were your top performers after 13 rounds of the Betfred Super League.